Okay, welcome back to Meet Up Speak Up. I'm about to do a little briefing about the videos that I just uploaded. I'm going to start with the um, first to second, which is the second video is about ineffective counsel about the arms, about the CPL license. And the CPL license was disputed on that date. I believe that was the 26th of June 2013. That was after the charges of the sentencing March the 12th of 2013. This we'll say approximate timing was from October the 15th of 2012 to June. And the last video was basically June the 26th of 2013. Now it's 4 other videos that I'm going to implement to you. And I'm going to show you how the attorney basically set a jury trial, which I wanted in the beginning of this. But I'm going to show you what the concentration information that the judge was talking about. And he was basically implementing on the tape as Attorney Munson was questioning him about the CPL license and the statutes of the CPL license. And what he was actually talking about when he was talking about it was more of this case than just what he knows. And he tried to indicate it was basically worse on my behalf. But I'm going to show you how it was. This case in the district court had me thinking that I was going to actually go through a jury trial under the district court. I'm going to show you that video and the document they had me sign. And we supposed to came back to court on February the 2nd of 2013 to pick a jury for a district court. And the reason why this dropping of charges came up and how they had to basically pretend to me that they had dropped all the charges, and then at the sentencing how the judge rekindled all the charges. Although you hear the probation officer Cunningham states that the charges you had on here y'all have dropped. So I don't know what charges basically that the court is talking about. Unless you're talking about the PIC or the PET, which is supposed to be breathalyzer. And let me let you know this from the video, that the 2 videos, you will never hear, even although when I get the audio from the police car, you would never hear an officer ask me to do a breathalyzer, because they never asked. The only time something like that occurred and he asked me to do a test, as he straddled a chair in front of me and asked me to do a test, is when I was in custody downstairs in a basement lockup. He asked me to do a test, and I asked him what was the test, and then he told me I was uncooperative and that, I was uncooperative. So that's the only time a test came up. They never asked a test at the scene, and you will see that once I showed you the audio from the cruiser, because at that point in time they had audios. They had just got the audio videos for the cars, Hazel Park 43rd in June of 2012, because they did it on YouTube. I still have the video, but they took it down. but I still have the video where they showed off when they first got their video cams in their car. So I will show you all this. And the first video you will see, and that is of the incarceration on the October the 12th of 2012. October the 15th, sorry about that, October the 15th of 2012. You will see certain things that's being said on that video that you could tell the video has been alternate. Okay, it's when it says medication, I said pharmaceutical medication. So they took the pharmaceutical part out. At the end of the tape, they alternated the tape because I actually described how the police officer put his hands up my skirt. And they took that part out. So they left the part in there just saying medication. But the medication was a gel. It was a lidocaine for cramps that you put on your legs. Of course, anything that got allergenic in it, you know, is pain. Well, it's got medication in it. And it might come back on a test. And that's the reason I expressed that. But it was pharmaceutical medication, and the medication was lidocaine. Lidocaine is like a painkiller if you have any pain in your body. As me, as a healthcare worker, I walk constantly dealing with patients and clients. So therefore, I would get cramps in my legs. So I would use the gel, lubrication to put on my legs to make sure that I wouldn't get my legs weren't getting cramped up. But of course, they took that and used it as I was on Vicodins. And they have to take a listing when you go to these urinalysis places. I think I did one back in 2009 when I evaluated workers who needed to take a background check. And I believe that was at Farmington Hills Medical Clinic. And you test individuals for background checks, and you're testing them for their blood and their urine. And what you're actually testing for is what type of medication they're taking. Are they on some drugs? Are they, drinking? Are they alcohol? I actually used to do it in 2009 for people who was going back to work. So this is the reason I know about the testing. So basically, it was lied about that I was positive. On none of my tests, I received a positive. Okay. The test is done that day once you go. They test you that day. They have to put it in a little machine and filter it out to get the results. Put it on your receipt. You get a little receipt at the end of that, and you get your results on it. And if you're positive, they're going to automatically let the courts know, because the courts get the documentation. But if you're negative, then it's going to put 000 at the bottom of your receipt, letting you know nothing came up positive. And I have every last one of my documents from 2012 of 19 when I first started going, all the way into 2014. And I also we're going to show you different other videos. You're going to be just amazed about this whole entire case. You're going to say, how could they get away with something like that? Now, in that, like I said, second tape, you're going to hear the prosecutor claim that she's not going to take back the guilty verdict because of the simple fact that I had volunteered it. But on none of my videotapes or none of the audios, you will hear me say I pled guilty. Matter of fact, on the beginning one of this whole incarceration on October the 15th of 2012, you will hear me constantly say on video, I'm not guilty. I pled not guilty. Not guilty. I plead not guilty to them charges. I plead not guilty to... I constantly saying it. It's constantly should be throughout the whole package. And I never pled guilty to it. I wanted the charges dropped, so I went for that. But they pretended. Well, they actually dropped the charges, but they brought up new charges, and I didn't even know what they was. And while I was standing there that day, so this was type of attorney, and everybody thought I was mad at this attorney because he didn't get me off. It's not about getting me off. If I was guilty of something, I mean, I'm guilty of it. I'll tell you I'm guilty of it. It wasn't that. It was the manipulation he did. Okay, and this was not a court-appointed attorney. He was a paid attorney. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, what was the purpose for you doing this? What was the purpose for, I'm about to file charges against a police officer. And then he finds out that, I own all these things. He actually came after me after this scenario. After he pled me guilty, he actually came after to sue me. And we might be still locked into a suit because of the simple fact that this person felt because he was an attorney and he's of Polish Caucasian that he can get away with it, and I was black. That's the only concrete evidence of knowledge that I can come up with, because I don't know him from a flying blue quarter. And I had just pulled him because I was trying to stop the same attorney you hearing from locking me up against my rights, because he told me if I didn't have a attorney there that day, that he was going to lock me up. He had locked the doors of the court. I was the last person standing in there without anyone being with me. I was totally by myself. So if they would have locked me up, no one would have knew. There's no way I could have got out at that point in time, because everything is, at that point in time, everything was on the credit card. I didn't carry cash on me. So this man would have locked me up and nobody would have knew, and I wouldn't have been able to get out because, how's him get out? I have no cash on me. So it was a lot under that pressure. When I grabbed him from the halls of the 43rd District Court, no, I didn't know him. I didn't know that attorney. I knew he was an attorney, and he said he was in criminal law. So I said, okay. But I come to find out later on the reason I fired him because of conflict of interest, because I found out that he was friends with the judge and as well with the prosecutor. So it's things in this video I'm kind of nitpicking on so people can understand the video. First of all, the video is alternated. I always say pharmaceutical medication or illegal medication. I never start off a sentence with medication. Okay, what's that? Medication. Okay, that's not my personality. Okay, so, and at the end of the videotape, it was alternated by the court because it had other things that was telling about what the officer did at the scene. And that was cut off. So it was made to look like that I was actually, I guess I did not know what I was talking about. I was stupid. I couldn't comprehend. Things like that. That's what it was made to look like. But if you listen to the words of the court, and I'm talking about both of the judges, you will understand what a person of color goes through when they go under courts like this. First of all, this is the first time I sat in courts to listen to different cases, and because at once upon a time, I was going through college to research different things. So I've never heard a judge argue the whole entire case of a person. Now they might ask the question, or it may say this and that, and they might say but the judge is there to be neutral. to listen to the case, to make sure its accuracy with the state statutes is going on, or with the constitutional rights is going on. And the prosecutor and the defense attorney argue the case. I've never heard of a judge arguing your case all the way through, and at the end you have to make a decision on that case. How can you make a biased, a rational, not biased, but rational decision while you're being biased on arguing a case? That's impossible. And then here you have a prosecutor that says, I'm not going to take back her plea. Now remember what a prosecutor is. A prosecutor is a person that's supposed to make sure they're prosecuting this person in the correct phase of guilty or not guilty. If you're guilty, I'm prosecuting you right. If you're not guilty, I'm going to make sure that I don't prosecute an innocent person. That's what an actual prosecutor is supposed to do. Okay? To make sure. That's why there are whatever state for the people. To make sure that an innocent person is not going to jail. Or an innocent person is not being charged. That's what a prosecutor is supposed to do. Now you hear this prosecutor say, oh, she volunteered. And it didn't go to trial, so I don't know. But she's a prosecutor for Oakland County District Court, 43rd District Court. But she don't know. It didn't go to trial, so I don't know. But then she sat there and said, I had the gun on my persons. Now you have the first tape that you hear, which is the first incarceration, will state that I had the gun in a locked trunk, and there's no objectives to that. You will have a police report that states that I had the gun in my trunk in a locked briefcase, and there's no objections to that. You have the prosecutor that says, I had the gun on my persons, which is my body, and charges on it. But she's a prosecutor. Now think about what a prosecutor is supposed to do. Do a prosecutor supposed to prosecute a person that's innocent and fake up charges or falsify documents to charge a person, but she's still sitting in a job as a prosecutor? No, they do not. Second of all, you have a lot of things that's going on with the sentencing. And like I said, if I had got all this information back then, I would have been able to analyze certain things, put them on documentation, send it in to the higher court, which is circuit court, is a motion. Make sure my attorneys observed the different things that was going on. But in the district court, they refused to give back all the documents, videos, and different things like that. I am just now getting these videos in the early part of 2020. January, February of 2020, I'm just not getting these videos. I still do not have all the documents back. Okay? The documents where they got the blood or claimed they had a warrant. Now, they claimed that, but I've never seen it. When I request for it, the court administrator said she has threaded all the documents because it's been so long. Now, under the policies of a court administrator, under the commissioner policies that you're supposed to follow when it comes to you being a court administrator, you're not supposed to shred any document when it comes to a case that might have to be appealed. And this is what this case is being appealed. Okay? Before November, this case is being reopened back up. And this is how much it is bothering me with this case and how they got away with lies and all kinds of things, is that I'm reopening back this whole case, spending my money to take it to a higher court to reopen back the whole case so I can prove how the judges, the court, the police officer, all was in coops of incarcerating me under false charges. But as you keep watching the tapes, listen very closely And if you know the law, you will know how they are basically over talking the law. And you will find that with the second judge that was over me, that I kept basically challenging. And you will find that he basically misinformed the law constantly. So this is my briefing on Meet Up and Speak Up. Keep watching, keep listening.